And welcome to the Multiversal Omnibus. I'm Chris Schisler. This is just a single issue. We are still on a DC train of things because DC Studios is born. Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, is upon us. And this is an open letter to DC fans, Snyderverse fans specifically, who can't let it go. This is an open letter to the Snyderverse. And I don't want to say the Snyderverse cult. I don't want to say the Snyderverse cult because I don't want to talk down to this group of fans because I feel like there's enough of that going on the internet. I'm a Snyderverse fan. I understand also that while there are people in the fandom that make us look bad, that there are also very many reasonable people in the fan base, and that the fan base has been a mostly positive thing. I'm not trying to attack the Snyderverse here at all because I appreciate Man of Steel. I loved Batman versus Superman for the deconstruction that it was. I enjoyed the ball of yarn that Lex Luthor was pulling. I am a fan of the payoff of that deconstruction in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I wanted more of it. I want the air cut of Suicide Squad. I am on your side to a point. I am a fan of what Zack Snyder did. I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he did right. And I believe that Zack Snyder is a visionary storyteller. But visionary storytellers have to at least accept that there are other visionary storytellers. And fans of a guy like Zack Snyder have to at least be willing to see what James Gunn and Peter Safran are about to do. Because whether you like it or not, the DCU is born. DC Studios has been created. James Gunn and Peter Safran are the co-CEOs of DC Studios who directly they report to David Zaslav. I don't understand how fighting DC Studios and the direction that DCU is going in is going to help anything right now. There is a difference between disagreeing with the announcements or not necessarily being down for everything that has been announced and fighting it because it's not what you want. Crying in the background because it's not what you want. And you are in the background. If you are spamming Twitter with the hashtag sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix or sell the Snyderverse to Netflix or restore the Snyderverse, you're really in the background now because this is a fan base that needs to move forward and be excited about a new direction. You have to remember that if we get the Snyderverse back, we may or may not get Man of Steel 2, and we're probably getting Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2. That's it. That's it. You're not getting everything that you wanted, and you're not going. We're just going to continue on the one Justice League story. You know, he had a 5-film arc. We were 3 films into it. He left Zack Snyder's Justice League on a cliffhanger. I understand it, guys. I get it 100% with you. But after that is over, what do you have? You're going to reset the universe? Well, then we're in the same spot anyway. Guys, I'm telling you, Henry Cavill, when he announced that he was back, it meant a lot to me because Henry Cavill Superman means a lot to me. I love Man of Steel. I think it's the best Superman movie. But guys, we're not getting it. He was never hired to be Superman. They jumped the gun. They pulled the strings behind the scenes to try to get you excited enough that it would force the hand of Warner Brothers. Then James Gunn and Peter Safran get hired. Black Adam and the mid-credit scene do not matter, and we are moving forward. We're moving ahead. And if you don't get on the train now, you're only hurting yourself. You're not achieving anything. You're not achieving anything. And I'm talking to you as a friend because, I love the Snyderverse. I would love to see a continuation of Zack's story. I would love to see Mr. Snyder be able to finish his work. I think he is a true genius. And I think what he did with the DC brand was beautiful storytelling. I also am a big fan of James Gunn. I loved all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the first two movies, and I sure that I will love the third one that comes out this year. I'm a big fan of James Gunn. I loved Peacemaker. I liked the Suicide Squad. I think Peacemaker had more heart in it than anything in that any element of that show. I think it had more heart than anything. It had off the walls comedy. It had an eagle hugging a human being. It was a crazy show, but it had heart. It had tragic storytelling. It was emotional. I think, and it was great for representation. I thought it showed a lot of different stuff in there. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a beautiful show. I think James Gunn is brilliant. I don't think I've ever seen a thing that James Gunn has been attached to that I didn't at least respect. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. You're getting it one way or the other. You're getting the DCU, whether you like it or not. Now, you can say, "Oh, well, if it's not successful, well, then they're going to restore the Snyderverse." Give it up. If this flops, if the DCU flops, you're not getting Zack Snyder's Justice League. You're not getting sequels. You're not getting the air cut. You are getting an absolute mess for the rest of the foreseeable future. There's no way to change that. This is a situation where DC just has to work now. James Gunn put all his chips on the table, and every chip that DC has is with James Gunn and Peter Safran. You're getting it whether you like it or not, and you're only hurting yourself. You're not promoting anything that's going to happen. You really think they're going to sell the Snyderverse to Netflix when they're trying to start their own universe and all the red tape that has to do that? And then do they own past things as well as anything that has to do with the Snyderverse? That's not going to happen. I think you're being delusional. I think you are, and I'm not talking down to you. I'm really not. I'm just trying to tell you you're hurting yourself. There was a time when I was upset that Marvel never seemed to criticism for their missteps. That Marvel, no matter what, got praise, no matter what, and that DC couldn't get a fair shake. There was a time when I was so frustrated because I thought Zack Snyder's vision was being disrespected by the general audience. I thought I was angry, and but here's the thing: I I watched all the Marvel stuff, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't just cookie cutter for kids. Now, is there a cookie cutter format to Marvel? To an extent, but this idea that Marvel's just this kiddie stuff, and we like edgy adult stuff. Get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. There is plenty of beautiful storytelling in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are other ways to do it than what Zack Snyder was doing it, and there are more successful ways to do it than what Zack Snyder was doing. We have to hit with the general audience. We have to get, and I understand that Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max was a success. You can argue with me too and blue in the face. It was a success. People who didn't even think they were going to like it ended up adoring Zack Snyder's Justice League. They ended up adoring that work, and it was something that was needed, was necessary, was healing in a lot of ways. And I understand that Zack Snyder's fan base has done a lot of good things for charities. That there has been a lot of good that has been done by the fan base, and I think most of the fan base is rational. But then you have that portion on the internet that is just it's almost as if their mission on earth is to make everybody else as miserable as they are, and they are not. You're not allowed to have fun. James Gunn isn't allowed to tell jokes. We don't want that, is what they say. Well, I want that. I am all about what we're getting with chapter one. We are broadening the DCU for everybody. We are putting the authority on there is a group of misfits that it is. Look, I don't know much about the authority, but that's the point. It's a minor thing that a team of misfits that James Gunn is going to do his thing with. Sign me up. That's good for comics. It's selling out right now. That's great. Booster Gold is getting his due. Supergirl is finally getting a movie. Not just the CW show, she's getting a movie. All right, that hasn't happened since 1984, and this is the first real stab at getting Supergirl in the mainstream the way that she should be. Great character. Great character. If you do it right, I couldn't be more excited about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. You're getting the Bat Family. You're getting the Bat Family in DCU. Brave and the Bold, you're getting Damian Wayne. So not only are you getting the heavy hitters with Batman and Superman and a Wonder Woman prequel, but you're getting the Authority. You're getting Creature Commandos. You're getting Waller. You're getting a lot of. You're opening up the. You're getting Swamp Thing. You're opening up the avenues of fan bases for DC, and people are getting excited about the source material, the comic books. That's fantastic, guys. Absolutely fantastic. So you can get on board, or you can not get on board. It's your call. But you're only hurting yourself. And you would be amazed at the quality storytelling that goes on in Marvel and in other DC movies that have nothing to do with Zack Snyder. There's plenty of movies out there that don't have anything to do with superheroes that are good too. Broaden your horizons. Allow yourself to get out of the closed-minded idea that only Zack Snyder's DC movies are for you. Because you're typecasting yourself, you're limiting yourself to what you're allowed to enjoy. And I bet you if you try a lot of these other things, you're going to find you like it whether you admit it or not. You're only hurting yourself if you refuse to like anything but the Snyderverse. And if you refuse to get on board, we're going to have fun without you. That's how I feel. I hope it didn't hurt your feelings. It's not what I'm trying to do. I enjoy and adore the Snyderverse. It is something that is special to me. It's over. We're starting something new. Have fun with me. Have fun with us. Let's have fun. It's the bottom line. This is supposed to be fun. All right, guys. That was my soapbox.